What's good, everybody? All Ball Podcast here. I'm Josh. This is Connor. Today we're going to be going over Week 2 NBA, Week 17 NFL, and college football playoff semifinals.
To start off the NBA this week, we're bringing up the Nets. This is because the Nets started off really well. They looked fantastic, but they have Dinwiddie down.
Dinwiddie's down, and that makes their bench look gone.
That does hurt their bench a lot. And besides that, in their recent games, their bench also has not showed up. Karis LeVert isn't doing his job.
Invisible.
Other players like that. Jared Allen's not doing too bad.
Jared Allen's probably the most consistent bench player for the Nets right now.
Yeah, Landry Shamet
has not showed up.
Is also in Ghost Town.
I would bet he's averaging like 3 points a game.
No, yeah, something like that.
3 points a game for
He's not doing too good.
They expected more out of Landry Shamet at the beginning of the season, with or without Dinwiddie, no doubt.
Yeah, right before this podcast, they played today against
the Wizards.
And
the 1-win Wizards.
Yeah. Well, now the 2-win Wizards.
Yes.
Landry Shamet, I think, shot literally one shot.
0 for 1.
He shot one shot the whole game. So that's kind of rough because I was pretty high on the Nets coming into the season, and not even just coming into the season. Even though they were 3-3 before today, I think they're
3-4.
3-4 now. That's really rough for the Nets.
Okay, but I'm gonna tell you right now, if the Nets bench doesn't start to show up,
how far are you going with that? How far are you gonna go with that?
They might not make it out the second round. They're a second round exit.
I'm sure they'll come. They'll get it. They'll get it going by the playoffs. But right now their team is very top heavy. They have Kevin Durant, Kyrie. They've been doing their thing all season.
Of course.
Joe Harris showed up tonight. It was fun watching him play a little bit. Timothy Luwawu-Cabarrot, he was in foul trouble, but really basically Jared Allen, and that's about it. Jared Allen, Joe Harris.
Bench.
Joe Harris is inconsistent, so that's kind of rough to base your team off of. Timothy, his 14 points is probably a season high so far.
No, I think he's been around there every game. Just
Has
about. He? Yeah.
And then everyone else on their team, like literally Landry Shamet got 2 assists.
In 17 minutes. 17 minutes, you passed the ball twice and that person scored.
Yeah, so the Nets aren't looking too hot, but
the bench shortage is going to be an issue at the trade deadline. They're going to have to make a move for somebody. They have to. Do they not?
No, they. I think the Nets, if everyone's playing properly, is a championship team. Like, if everyone's playing their role consistently.
What if Bagley went there? Is that his name? Bagley?
Marvin
Bagley.
Marvin Bagley.
Because his dad.
I don't think that's what they're.
His executive dad.
No, I don't think that's a good move for them. He doesn't fit their timeline.
They need a bench piece.
Plus, Bagley sucks.
Okay.
Bagley kind of sucks. No, I'm sure.
Fair enough.
Look, I'm sure if the Rockets trade Harden, they'll move a couple more of their pieces. They could get like Boogie Cousins or something like that.
I feel like a big man isn't what they need either.
I'm just saying that they could pick something up off like a selling Rockets.
PJ Tucker.
They could pick up PJ Tucker. PJ Tucker could help the Nets.
The Nets.
PJ Tucker. Okay, the Nets aren't doing too good right now. They'll pick it up.
They will.
They should pick it up, especially when Dinwiddie comes back.
Yeah, he's not coming back till playoffs.
Oh, he tore his ACL.
Partially, so he could come back for playoffs.
Shoot, that is rough. No,
that's a problem. They need to pick up somebody.
Even so, this is the Nets' first year with their new team.
Okay.
Do we expect a chip from their first year?
I don't expect a chip, but I expect the.
I do want a conference finals at least.
Yes.
Out of them. No, but I still feel like it's really early.
They need a bench piece.
Okay. You think they need a bench piece? I think they need to get it together. Because I honestly, their team right now isn't too bad.
No, it's a good team.
Their team is not bad.
No, it's a good team.
And Joe Harris off the bench is cool.
No, Joe Harris is not off the bench. Joe Harris is starting.
Okay, he will be off the bench in there.
Why? Who's gonna replace him?
Listen, Kyrie starting guard.
Okay.
They will have Dinwiddie coming off the bench, which, oh my God,
He's
their
gone.
team is, they're right, bro. He's gone the
gone.
whole season. That's so hard to think of Dinwiddie out the whole season.
Yeah.
That is hard. So you think that they need a bench piece for just for the season?
For the season.
Shoot, no, I do kind of agree with that. because he is out for all 72
Because
games.
look, that's 32 minutes out of Jeff Green and Landry Shamet with 2 points,
That's more
3
than 30.
rebounds, and 2 assists.
Yeah, no, that's bad. Oh, that is bad. That's 33
That's
minutes
35,
of gameplay.
35 minutes.
That's 33 minutes.
Same shit.
No, you're right. They do need to pick up another piece.
Yeah. But
Next is the Wizards. You're questioning if they could make a playoff push after 2 wins.
just because the East is so weak.
I personally think that, yes, they can make the playoffs. Because you have Bradley Beal. Okay, first of all, tonight, they did not look half bad playing against the Nets.
Didn't catch any of it, but I'll take your word
Yeah,
for
no,
it.
they didn't look half bad. So, Russell Westbrook,
Almost had a triple-double.
Bradley Beal, Davis Bertans,
Thomas Bryant has looked good this year.
Thomas Bryant is, but that's the Russell Westbrook effect. He makes all of his centers look good. Yeah,
21.
Thomas Bryant dropped a 20. Okay, so they had Bradley Beal dropped 27, Russell Westbrook dropped 24. Yeah, Rui Hachimura had a decent night, but he looked like he didn't. He looked kind of clueless tonight. They even Davis Bertans. So basically, they are a team that could make the playoffs if everyone decided to do what they're supposed to do. But it was really confusing to me that they started off 0-5 because I didn't expect that at all.
Yeah.
I think that, well, in my opinion, they should have been around, like, at the end of the season, about 3 or 4 games under 500.
Okay.
That's where I was aiming for them.
Okay. That's
But-
not bad though, because that's probably an 8 seed in the East.
100%. Well, it could be an AC.
I feel like them and the Cavs are gonna be neck and neck. I don't
Yeah.
see the Cavs staying over 500. for
No,
very much
Cavs
longer.
are doing so
But,
good.
but here's the thing about the Wizards is their next few games are 76ers, Celtics, Heat, Suns, Jazz. That's
that's a terrible.
that's 5 straight.
But I definitely think that they could pick it up late in the season.
Okay, I'm just noting
Like-
that they're gonna start off maybe
No,
3.
they might start off awful. They started off 0-5.
Okay.
But
They're
like
2-5 now.
Russell Westbrook last year, I don't know if you remember after the All-Star break, maybe even it was a little bit after that, just went off. It was like averaging almost a 30-point triple-double for like right before the bubble. I feel like he could do the same thing this year, like right at the end, just to push his team into the, because he's probably going to see that his team isn't doing good and try to will his way. And I feel like Bradley Beal would work good with that too. Yeah, there's definitely a bunch of teams that are going to be fighting in the East.
Yeah, I feel like the Wizards and Cavs will for sure be 2 of them.
Yeah. Next is the Nuggets. Nuggets aren't doing too good, and that hurts me to see because the Nuggets are one of my favorite teams.
They're a fun team to watch when they look good.
Yeah, they're tied for last right now in the West. Yesterday, they were dead last in the league, but
They got to win yesterday.
today, no, I thought they won today.
Was it today?
They either won yesterday, yeah, they won.
Oh yeah, they beat the Timberwolves.
They beat the
today.
Timberwolves
They did
today,
beat the
and
Timberwolves
that they're still tied for last. But yeah, that hurts to see. I don't know where they go because a lot of their losses, right? They lost to the Suns, the Kings.
Clippers.
They lost to the Kings twice. The first one that was the Buddy Hill, right?
The Clippers.
Yeah, and they lost to the Clippers. No, but I'm talking about teams that like they should beat, right? They should beat the Kings. They lost to them twice. I feel like they should beat the Suns. They lost to them too. What do you think their issue is?
Well, I know Jamal Murray was out with injury for
Yeah.
like a game or 2. I know Michael Porter Jr. is not playing right now because of COVID or personal reasons. I think it was.
It's probably
probably-
something to do with it.
I thought I heard something about COVID. Then I thought I heard something about a possible like family issue or some sort.
Yeah,
But
regardless, he's out.
he's out for at least a few more games. And I mean, what is the issue?
Honestly, looking at the stats, the issue is that they're top heavy and not much after that. So they have Jokic, who's putting up his usual triple-double numbers. Right now he's averaging 23, 11, and 13.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy. And he came off against that loss, I think it was to the Kings. He had like 18 assists that game. He had
did.
like an
He had-
18 assist triple-double.
He had 18 assists and 16 rebounds.
Yeah, it was
And I
something.
think 24 points.
It was something crazy like that. Jamal Murray's putting up 20, which, like, that's decent for him. Michael Porter's putting up a decent amount.
Almost 20 also.
But your fourth best player being Paul Millsap, that's kind of rough. And at the same time, like, after that, Monte
Monte
Morris,
Morris is right behind him.
Will Barton, Gary Harris isn't doing his job. Gary Harris has been playing good defense. But like, what's the point if you're only putting up 8 points a game in 30 minutes?
Yeah, that's not very productive.
They are off to a slow start. Jokic,
I'm not worried about them.
I'm not worried about them at all. I think they're going to be a top 5 seed. I think they should be a top 5
seed. I think they'll still be third.
Third's not too far off. But yeah, it is a rough start for them. I think they all just needed, not even just they all. Jokic needs to step it up a little bit, just on the scoring aspect, because he's doing everything else perfectly fine. Mm-hmm. Michael Porter, yeah, he missed. Paul Millsap shouldn't be their fourth best player. I think one of them needs to step it up. Gary Harris, I think, is the one that should step it up. They have some other young players.
You think Gary Harris should be their fourth best player?
Yeah.
Okay.
I do think Gary Harris should be their fourth best player. Okay. He shouldn't be underneath Will Barton, Monte Morris, and Paul Millsap in terms of scoring.
Yeah.
At all. He shouldn't be that low. Right now, I think, yeah, if I'm reading this right, out of their rotational players, he is the least efficient on the whole team. Yeah. Out of their rotational players.
Yeah.
That's awful.
Which I'm pretty sure they expect more from him.
Yeah, 100%.
And if he picks up the slack,
they'll pick up the slack.
They'll be fine.
But right now they're struggling.
Slow start.
Had to be talked about this. Yeah, very slow start.
Slow start.
Another
slow start.
Raptors.
Well,
what seed were they last year?
2?
Were they the 2 seed?
Yeah, they were.
Number 1 was the Bucks. Yeah. They were the 2 seed.
Yeah.
And now they're what? 1 and
4.
1 and 4.
1 and 4.
A lot of the good teams are starting off slow this year, which is rough.
They're 1 and 4. Their one win was against the Knicks. The Knicks shot 8% from 3 that game.
Yeah.
So it's like, if they have a better shooting night, is that a more competitive game and they could possibly be 0-5?
That's crazy to think about. They're on the same level as the Pistons.
Yeah, it's not good for them.
I honestly think, like, their team last year, right? Mm-hmm. They did great. Obviously, they had, like, Surge last year?
Surge, yeah. But they replaced him with Aaron Baines, which isn't a bad replacement.
Yeah, not a bad replacement. I don't think... So, right now, who would you say is the best player on their team?
Kyle Lowry.
Okay. Why? Just because he's, like, proven himself?
Just because he's a vet. He's always going to go out there and get it done. You should say Pascal Siakam.
I was going to say Pascal. But Pascal's been... Yeah, he's been...
10 points. Tonight, 10 points.
I don't, because I was ready to. Last year, I was saying Pascal Siakam was an all-star candidate. Mm-hmm. That's what I was ready to say.
Which it wasn't bad to say last year during the regular season.
Yeah.
Look at their point leaders.
Yeah.
Fred VanVleet is averaging 19.
They have nobody averaging over 20. Freddie, they just gave him that big contract. But I think what their issue is, right? They gave Fred VanVleet the contract to kind of like, not replace Kyle Lowry, but as Kyle Lowry fizzles out, Fred to come up. Mm-hmm. But that's not working for them at all. And their coach will realize that. Because normally they used to play together, and that worked really well. Yeah. Now he's trying to play them apart so that Fred VanVleet can like create his own thing. But that's not working because Fred VanVleet works better off ball, like when Kyle Lowry's handling the ball.
Yeah.
What I think they need is to just play how they've been playing.
Last year. They need to go back to last year's plan.
And don't give Freddie the keys to the offense until you fully replaced Kyle Lowry, because you can't just...
Kyle Lowry's still your guy.
Kyle Lowry still makes the team 100 times better. Even right now, he's averaging the most assists on the whole team.
Who?
Kyle Lowry.
Okay.
Which
is probably expected.
No, it's definitely expected. But what they need to not be doing is just they're trying to move on too fast.
Yeah.
Even though last year it got them a 2 seed.
Yeah. We brought it up. I don't know if it was on or off camera that we kind of compared them to the Celtics. Remember that?
A little bit.
About how...
No, yeah. I think that might have been off camera.
I feel that still stands, that they need to kind of go like how last year's Celtics team was, where they had 3-4 players around 20 points per game. They got them just under 20 points per game.
They just need to push it up a little bit.
Like, Pascal's got to get up to, I say, 22?
Yeah.
Pascal's 22. Fred VanVleet's not bad. Kyle Lowry 22 as well.
Pascal needs to go... I could see him going up to 22 if the other people aren't stepping it up further. Because I believe Fred VanVleet should be around 23, 24. If Freddie's up there where they want him, and I'm basing this off of the role they're trying to give him and how much money they gave him. Mm-hmm. if he can go up that high, Pascal obviously can slim down a little bit. Same with Kyle. I feel like Kyle Lowry can be a little bit under 20. Chris Boucher can be a little bit under 20, but their top two should definitely be above 20 at least, Freddie and Pascal. And Pascal's only averaging 16 right now.
I feel like do you think Aaron Baines has to step it up
No.
a little bit?
Aaron Baines was a pickup to... He's like Serge Ibaka. Like, you didn't expect much from Serge Ibaka but to play his role. Right now, Aaron Baines is... He's not doing much,
He's
but
under
like
10, isn't he?
you also don't expect much from him though, do you?
No, I'm just saying if it's your opinion that he should step it up a little bit.
Nah, he's definitely. I wouldn't say Aaron Baines is Serge Ibaka. I would definitely say Serge Ibaka is better, but like he's a decent replacement for that.
It wasn't like a total downgrade where it's like tremendous.
I do think they need to go back to what they were doing last year instead of trying to
separate Van Fleet and Lowry.
And Lowry, yeah.
They're trying to make Van Fleet a star point guard a little early.
But they're trying to give Freddie like the ball, like you know how the Suns, they tried running Devin Booker at point guard and it did not work, or it worked but like it didn't bring anything. That's what they're trying to do to Fred VanVleet, but it's even worse because like he's not as good as Devin Booker.
Yeah. Okay.
So they need to keep a good point guard with Fred, which they have Kyle Lowry right now, but they need to just keep doing what they're doing.
Yeah.
And maybe they find a piece like Chris Boucher is a diamond.
He dropped 24 today.
Yeah, Chris Boucher is a diamond, and nobody talks about Chris Boucher like they should. And he'll make sure to prove it to everybody soon. When he emerges, that's a much more competitive team.
Okay, well they need Pascal Siakam to step back up.
No, yeah, they need him to not. I don't know
10
why.
10 points is not gonna get the job done.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Where would you put them now? Like in the East?
So last year they did 2. This year
Slow start. They don't look good.
they don't.
There's not even really any hope, in my opinion. Like they're gonna get better, but there's not hope. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Looking at the teams in the East, right? Mm-hmm. It's hard for me to name 5 teams better than them. But that's me just thinking of how good they can be.
Yeah,
They could-
potential.
They could end up being a 6 seed this year.
I think they'll be around a 5. 4.
I think they should be around a 4 seed.
I don't think they're a 3 seed.
Yeah, 3 seed's kind of rough. I shouldn't have said that.
4 or 5.
I think they should be around 4. But I wouldn't be surprised if they ended up being 6. Maybe they even do
Not
worse
7.
than that.
I don't know about
Looking at what they're doing right now, they could miss the playoffs. So if they end up being a 7 seed, I wouldn't be like, I didn't see it coming.
Well, if the Hawks, the Hawks are going to stay competitive. Let's get that through everybody's brain.
Okay, Josh.
If the if the Cavs stay competitive, then
They're not.
I don't think they will either. Trust me, I don't. I don't believe in
Sexline is nice,
I don't believe in Sexline yet. But if they stay competitive, then that could maybe put a spark in Pascal Siakam to finally play like the All-Star he was last year.
I don't think Pascal. I don't think Pascal's the type to be motivated by things like that. I just think he needs to get into it, and he'll get into it, and they'll be fine. But we just need to let them do that.
Yeah.
Next up, something that I think is crucial to a team and their success.
Yeah, it makes every team better.
Is the jersey and the court mashup of the alternate jerseys.
Some of them are extraordinary.
And
Extraordinary.
do you want me to go first? Because
You can say what you got to say first.
today, or not today. Was it yesterday? It was yesterday. I called you about it, or I texted you about it.
You FaceTime me.
The only thing going right, I would say, actually, LaMelo has stepped it up a little bit. But other than that,
A tad.
the only thing that is going right for the Charlotte Hornets
Is
that Buzz City jersey and Buzz City court together. I don't, and this is obviously me being young, but I don't know if I've ever seen a better jersey court combination in my entire life. And I've been watching NBA for a decent amount of time.
Okay.
I think that's the best jersey court
It's fire.
mashup. And NBA stepped it up. Like last year was okay. NBA stepped it up this year.
They did.
It looks
They upped
so
their game.
nice.
They upped their game.
It looks so nice this year.
So that's your favorite one?
100% that's my favorite one. That looks so nice.
So Connor's got Buzz City as his number one.
Not just that. LaMelo, pause, no homo.
Here we go with the game
Looks
comment.
so good in that jersey on that court. I would do anything to watch him play with that. Even if he drops like five points.
Like 6'3" and 2.
Yeah, like I'd be cool with that. I just want to see him in that jersey.
My personal favorite, which I haven't seen on court yet, but I seen a matchup last year, and that is the Miami Heat with their
Miami
Vice City.
Heat.
Their Vice City last year was the best last
Was
year.
cream worthy.
Was the best last year.
Yeah.
So I'm imagining this year
No, I
is
don't
just going to be even better because they combine like the light blue and the pink.
No,
they
and
just
this year it's
together.
gradient.
put
Have you
it
seen
together.
that? Yeah, no, this year it's gradient. Like, you know how they've had like white with pink with blue or black with pink with blue? This year it's like blue to pink kind of, or is it downwards?
It's downwards.
I don't think it's downwards, but
I think it's downwards.
okay, it might be. But the courts are gradient as well, which I think is like that's gonna look so.
No, that's gonna
so
look
nice.
great. They suck right now, but that's gonna look great.
No, yeah, they're not doing too good either. There was a game, yeah, side to side. There, there was a team.
Maybe it's not my favorite.
You don't like that?
No, it is.
Just not as
But
much.
I'm saying maybe it's not my favorite because I didn't recognize that.
Maybe.
It's side to side, but yeah.
No, the Heat aren't doing too well either.
No, they're not. They're off to a slow start.
But it's not as slow as others. But it's still a slower start.
2 and 3,
Jimmy Butler had like
2 points.
2 points the other night.
But I think he has some type of injury going on.
Oh, maybe.
When they got blown out by the Bucks, he was injured. The next game they beat them, he was injured. I think he tried to come back on short notice and only scored 2 points.
No,
So he's
yeah.
kind of just there just to be a veteran, you know?
No, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
As of recent, and by recent I mean just ended as we've been talking. The Curry versus I did not see that until right now. Curry dropped 62 points on Damian Lillard, and they lied to us. By the way,
Who?
they didn't pull from half first shot of the game.
Aw.
They said that they were going to do that, and they
This
didn't
is
do
better
it.
than that.
No,
This is better than that.
100%. That's
Okay,
better than that.
everybody that says that Dame is better than Curry, I want you to look up January 3rd Warriors versus Blazers and go to the box score and let me know.
Not even the
who's
box
better.
score. Watch the game. He had 40 points in the
watch the
third.
highlights.
He had
Watch the
40
highlights.
points in the third and dropped another 20 after that. He had 20 in the first.
Wow, that was all in the last like 20 minutes.
No, yeah, we didn't get to watch that.
That's AIDS. I have NBA League Pass for nothing.
Bro, what was I saying? We should have watched it. Oh, that's such a, oh my God. Okay, anyways, no, I was going to say, there are people who tried telling me that Damian Lillard was better than Stephen Curry. And that's just not true. And Curry's slow start gave them so much confidence. I hope tonight proves in literally the matchup who's better, 62 points to 32 points
Okay, well,
in less time played.
and I was gonna say let's get that through everybody's brain too. Is he only played 36 minutes?
He only played 30. He scored 2 points every minute. Every minute that he was on the court, he scored 2
He
points.
scored a layup at least.
At least. Which, oh my. Andrew Wiggins showed up tonight.
Phenomenal.
Dropped a dub.
He did. Kelly
Oubre didn't do too bad. Are the Warriors back?
And Wiseman did his thing.
James Wiseman put up a double-double. No, the Warriors, obviously, I still don't think they're going to make the playoffs. As much as it hurts me to say,
no.
they did fantastic. I
And-
don't think they're even, though. Both teams
Yeah.
are even. It's just hard to say. They're off to a decently slow start just because but maybe Draymond comes back and gives their team the push that they need. That's just, oh my God, that's so great to see Curry put up 62 against Dame.
It is.
And no hate on Dame.
Okay.
We love Damian Lillard, but like, just look at Curry, man.
Just so
That's so
inspirational. All right, let's get into our
Our
top 10.
I
Into our
don't want
top
you
10.
seeing mine. Do
Okay.
you want to go first, or do you want me to go
No,
first?
I have to go first because I have two teams at number 10.
Okay, you have it. Okay, yeah.
Okay.
So we're going over our power rankings so far through just
week
the
two.
top 10, because below that it's kind of not worth to talk about. Go for it.
Okay. So coming in at number 10 and a half, which this team no longer has the edge because of tonight, is the Portland Trailblazers.
You had the Blazers in your top 10? Well, kind of.
I had the Blazers.
And what, you knocked them out because Curry
they're
dropped
knocked out
62?
now. They're knocked out now.
Okay.
But since it's on there, we'll talk about it. The Blazers are a promising team if they know how to play defense. They picked up two key acquisitions in the offseason that should round them out on defense better than 120 per game. They just gave up 137 to the Warriors.
Who are the two you're talking about? Are you talking about Robert Covington?
Robert Covington
Okay, who
and
else?
the dude from the Heat. What's his name? Jones?
Oh, Derek Jones Jr.
Derek Jones.
Okay, I'm just making sure that we're on the same page. Okay.
They had 2 losses, but now they have 3.
So they're off the list now, but
Yeah, they're off the list now, but we'll also talk about them.
Okay.
Their first loss was on opening night against the Jazz when Lillard had 0 points at half. And their second loss, Lillard was 3 for 14 from the field. So it seems like when Lillard has a bad game, they lose.
Yeah,
Although
that's kind of how it's always been.
Yeah, because it's the Blazers.
Like, remember, not too long ago, I think it was like 2 or 3 seasons ago, they were like the 2 or 3 seed, and that's when Damian Lillard was in the MVP debates.
Yeah.
I think it's the Portland Lillards.
Yeah, their outcome depends on his outcome.
100%.
And then they also lost tonight, of course, where he dropped 32, but
Which first of all, 32 is not bad at all. That's a fantastic
good game.
game.
That's a good game.
But
Curry just
Curry showed who was the best.
yeah. Do you want me to say my other? Do you want me to say
Yeah,
my
say your
other
other 10, just because we're already there.
And coming in at number 10, which is still 10 as of tonight, is the Indiana Pacers.
Okay, I will let you know I don't have the Blazers or Pacers in my top 10.
That's fine.
But I'm guessing you gave the Pacers that just because of how good they're doing?
They look good. They look good.
Now, they are. DeMontis looks good. Brogdon looks good.
Oladipo's okay.
Oladipo's decent, but I definitely think he has a higher ceiling.
He does.
After looking at that, because when I was making my list, right?
Okay.
I wanted to give a lot of credit to the records because that shows how good they're doing.
Yeah.
But I also thought I want to give a lot of credit to the team because a lot of these records, since they're the start of the season,
They don't.
some of them are gonna be a bit
iffy.
Wishy-washy.
Yeah, which a few of the teams in our top 10s, I'm sure, are wishy-washy.
I definitely think that your number 10 is very accurate because that's a good number 10. However, I don't have them at number 10.
They have 1 loss as of now. Their 1 loss, right?
Pacers?
Yeah.
2 losses. They lost to the Jazz, I think, tonight.
Oh, they did.
Oh, no, they didn't. No, what are you talking about? They didn't even play tonight. No, they have 2 losses.
Who else? Okay. Well. Oh, I'm sorry. I do have both their losses on there. They lost to the Celtics on a back-to-back. The first night they played the Celtics without Oladipo, they beat them.
Come on.
The second loss, or the second night they played the Celtics was a back-to-back, and they lost by not very much. It wasn't a blowout.
Okay.
So that's fine. That's fine to split against the Celtics. The Celtics are a talented team.
Yeah.
And then their second loss was to the Knicks, where Oladipo shot 18%, which, as you said, he has a higher ceiling.
100%.
And in a game where Oladipo has shooting. In a game where Oladipo shoots 18%, Domantas Sabonis has got to take more than 8 shots.
Oh, yeah.
He took 8 shots.
I don't think I even caught that game, but I feel like I would be very disappointed in that.
That's I don't know what their offense was doing, but if Sabonis is only taking 8 shots, then Oladipo's got to be shooting 60%.
Yeah. No,
He can't be shooting 18%. But so my official number 10 is definitely the Indiana Pacers.
Okay, I very much like that.
Okay.
So my number 10 might not be on your list because I feel like I think your list is more based off performance, kinda, and mine is more based off of just the team and how good I think the team is. My number 10 is the Pelicans. Are the Pelicans on your top 10?
No.
Okay, so yeah, we're...
And I'm going to be honest. I think I would put them at 13.
Ooh. Okay, so the reason I gave the Pelicans, which they have the same record as the Pacers.
Okay.
And I made this list last night. I changed it up a little bit today. I like the Pelicans' potential, I think, a lot more than some of the teams that are doing the same record as them. So the teams that are 4-2, just the teams that have the exact same record are the Jazz, right? And also the Pacers, Magic, Cavs, Hawks. Okay? Ooh. I disrespected the Hawks. I'm looking at that now. I'm going to take the Pelicans off my list mid-podcast. I'm going to put...
The Hawks weren't on your list?
I completely forgot about the Hawks.
The fifth...
That's an L. You know what?
Fifth seed, Atlanta Hawks.
Actually, matter of fact, because they're not even a number 10. They're higher than number 10. I'm going to move the Hawks to right here. I'll move the Hawks right there. So let's just say that I had a tie for 10.
Okay, as the Hawks and Pelicans?
Nah, the Pelicans were 11. My number 10 is now the Jazz.
Okay.
My number 10 is the Jazz. Pelicans were 11. You know how your Blazers are 11? Pelicans were my 11.
That's fine, that's fine.
The Jazz are my 10. And that's just based off the teams that they beat and the teams they lost to. They lost to the Suns. They were just completely outplayed that game. But Devin Booker and Chris Paul had a fantastic game that night. A lot of times you can't do anything about that.
Yeah.
They also lost to the Timberwolves. And in that game, they had more than double the Timberwolves' turnovers. Those two is either a loss that any team in the league is going to lose to, and the other one is just you have those nights where you're just throwing the ball away. Mm-hmm. They beat the Blazers, they beat the Thunder, which is impressive, and they also beat the Clippers and Spurs. I think those are impressive games for them to beat, and that's why I have them at number 10. I think that they're going to be a pretty decent playoff team.
They're a Midwest team.
Yeah, right now they're 4-2. I think they're going to stay around that area. They're probably going to drop a little bit. But yeah, Jazz are my number 10.
Okay.
Very sorry to the Hawks. I disrespected
That's disrespectful.
them.
Especially because you know how high I am on the Hawks.
I disrespected the Hawks pretty
bad.
Okay.
Speaking of Atlanta Hawks, coming in at number 9 is the Atlanta Hawks.
Okay.
Right now they have 2 losses. Their first loss was against the Nets in a shootout where the score was 145 to 141. 280 points should never be scored in an NBA game, first of all. That's a game where I expected them to split with the Nets. I said that before the season. They did end up splitting with the Nets. They could have probably won both. But staying within 4 points in a game where the Nets scored 145 points isn't bad. But they do have to step it up on defense because a team scoring 145 is unacceptable. Their second loss was a close game to Sexland where the Hawks shot 10 for 19 from the line, which is under 50%.
That's okay.
And
from the free throw line.
Free throw line. That's
unacceptable. Awful. That should never happen.
That's unacceptable from the free throw line.
As you're talking about the Hawks, all right.
Okay.
So obviously, Hawks completely flew over my mind. I don't know how I let that happen. But I've been trying to look on my list where I wanted to put them. And I wanted to put them 8 or 9.
Okay.
So I'll keep them at 9 just because I know you like the Hawks. You're keeping a good eye on them. So I'll trust your executive decision. I'm going to put them at the same spot as you.
Okay.
And that's not because I'm copying him. That's just flew over my mind. That's real quick. I trust your decision.
Okay.
But yeah, I'm going to have them at 9 as well.
And they've got good wins against the Nets.
Yeah, no.
You thought that the Nets were going to win.
Starting off the season, I thought the Nets were going to whoop them. And they stayed in both games.
And you also, don't lie, you also said that they could possibly lose to the Pistons.
I did not think they were going to be...
You said that.
I didn't think the Hawks were going to be as good as they were this year.
Okay.
But they've definitely been better than I thought they were going to be. No, they stayed in both games with the Nets, right?
They won one.
They won one, and the other one was only a
4-point
loss.
Where they gave up 145 points.
There was a 5-point loss to the Cavs. And those are their only 2 losses. Obviously, I expect them to beat the Bulls.
They hit a few free throws, and that's a different game.
No, 100%. Yeah, if you're shooting 50%,
you're not going to win.
You should have won that game.
Yeah.
No, yeah, Hawks at 9 is good. Do you want to go 8 or you want me to go 8? Let me make...
You go
I'll
8.
go 8. Let me make sure I haven't missed any teams.
Do you want me to go 8 then? So that way you don't miss any teams?
My 8's the Rockets.
Okay.
Yeah, do you have the Rockets on your list?
No.
Okay, let me explain why I have the Rockets on my list.
Okay.
So, the Rockets' losses, I'll start with their losses. They lost to the Blazers, and that was in a CJ McCollum game winner. So that was a very close game. They lost to the Nuggets, right? That was a game where Hardwood were the only ones playing.
Yeah, that's the one where they had like 60 or like 50 in the
something
first half.
crazy by themselves, and no one else played, that's also the game, or that is a game that Jokic went off. Jokic had a triple-double. I think he had like 15 or 16 assists.
So he had a normal game.
No, he had one of his games.
Okay.
As of last night, they were 2-2 only. One of their games was postponed against the Thunder. That's a win. So in my head, they were about 3-2. Okay. Yeah. So in my head, they're about 3-2. The reason why I put them on my list, although only 2-2, should be 3-2, would have been 3-2 if the COVID thing didn't postpone their game. Harden looks like Harden.
Yes, of course.
John Wall surprised me in his comeback.
He looks good.
And DeMarcus doesn't look too bad either. Not Hardwood. Christian Wood was my kind of hit, like how he likes Trae Young. Christian Wood was kind of my guy this year. He's proven himself, I think, personally.
He has. He's proved something to me for sure.
Right now, he's averaging, 21 and 10, something like that, with a decent amount of blocks. The other night, I think their last game, he had like 4 blocks.
Yeah, he had 4.
Like, he was going off.
Yeah.
I think that their team, if they played as many games as everyone else, like there's teams out here with 7 games, they only have 4 games. I think if they played more games, they would have won more games. So I'm just giving them the benefit of the doubt. That's why I put them on my list.
Okay, and that's why I don't have them on my list is because of shortage of games. I
understand that they haven't showed it.
Yeah.
I just think that if they had the opportunity, they would have shown it.
I believe that too, but there's more teams deserving in my opinion.
Okay, what's your number 8?
You might get upset.
You better not.
At number 8, I have the Philadelphia 76ers. The Philadelphia 76ers right now have 1 loss. They're 1 loss.
I'm so confused at how we ranked our lists.
It's kind of okay. Mine was records cool, but also team performance, and I know this team is going to be good.
That's kind of also how I did mine.
And okay, let me explain myself about the Cavs.
Explain yourself.
Or the 76ers. The 76ers have 1 loss to the Cavs by 24 with no Embiid. That's fine. That's
no Embiid.
No Embiid. That's literally their team.
Ben Simmons should have picked it up, but he didn't.
Yeah, he scored like 15 points that game. He's got to score up.
And
damn near 30 if they want to win.
Yeah, I don't think they played tonight, so that's still their 5-1 their only loss.
Okay, so the reason I have the 76ers at 8 and why I don't have them higher is because I do not believe in the 76ers. I don't.
Okay. I understand.
I want to tell you right now, Seth Curry is averaging 21 points. That will not last. That's not lasting.
Not at all.
Danny Green is still a bum. That was that looked like a good signing for them just because they needed an outside shooter, but he hasn't done anything. He's taken like 3 shots.
He's been bad since the Raptors, I'd say.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair enough. That's fair enough. But
all right.
The thing is, he's not getting a lot of shots. Whether he would make them or not, that's depends on him and his jump shot. But yeah. I do not believe in that team.
No, I was talking to you about this the other day. I think that every year I'm always like, oh, they'll figure it out this year. They'll figure it out this year.
They never do.
And they never figure it out. I'll let you know. Obviously, Sixers have to be on my list. They're a bit higher on my list.
It's fine.
But in terms of power rankings, because I do believe that they are playing to a good enough standard, and I think that they'll be a decent regular season team. That's why I have them higher ranked.
Okay.
But I do also think that they're 100% could be a first round exit.
Okay, and also AJ, if you're watching, I'm sorry.
No, I'm not sorry at all, AJ. Your team,
I don't believe in them,
is like fake. They could do as good as they want. Ben Simmons will hit. I think he did this last year. He hit a 3-pointer super early on, same spot, corner top.
Corner. I think the same side of the court.
Yeah,
too.
he wet it, and then he doesn't shoot the rest of the year.
Yeah,
he's gonna do the same thing. He's getting your hopes up.
All right, moving on to your number 8.
My number 7. Are you on? What number are you on?
Oh, I'm on 7 now.
Okay.
But
my number 7, you probably have higher, is the Suns.
Okay.
You have them on your list?
Yes.
Okay, just making sure. So I have the Suns, right? They lost to the Kings.
They just lost to the Clippers too.
And they just lost to the Clippers tonight. Paul George dropped 40. I think that's very important to why they lost. Paul George went off. Other things, Chris Paul showed up a little bit. Wanted him to show up a little bit more. Devin Booker did his thing, but Clippers just are a better team.
That's a game they should lose.
No, that's a game that like you're not mad about it, right? Like Brawada stood
Brawada's-
out.
he's not mad.
He's not mad. He's the biggest Suns fan in the entire world.
He's not mad.
The Suns beat the Mavericks, which at first I thought was a little bit more impressive. I'm starting to realize that's not really impressive because
not.
every team is beating the Mavericks.
The Bulls.
The Bulls beat the Mavericks. Or did they beat them? That was
There's no way they didn't.
the Bulls beat the Mavericks by 10. That's heartbreaking.
No Doncic, but regardless.
Like, I want the Mavericks to be on my list,
Yeah.
but they're just not on my list.
Yeah. Same
King-
thing with the
yeah.
thing with the Nuggets.
Yeah, same thing with the Nuggets. The Suns also beat the Kings. That's a very close matchup, and they took the edge. Another close matchup is the Pelicans. Suns took that. Another close matchup.
They murdered them. They were
yeah.
up by 40 at one point.
I don't remember that.
They were up
but
by
that's
40, and then they
crazy.
played like Devin Booker's little cousin.
I think all their wins are close matchups. That they proved that they were the better team. That's why I have them at number 7. Also, as of when I made this list, they were 5-1. Obviously, before
5-2 now.
Earlier today, they were 5-2. But they were the number 1 in the West yesterday, and now
They're probably tied.
Now they're tied. A three-way tie
with the Lakers
number
and
1.
Lakers and Clippers. Okay.
So that's why they're my number 7.
Yeah. Coming in at number 7 for me is the Boston Celtics.
That's your team.
That's my team.
Wow. Okay.
So right now we're 4-3.
Are you missing a? Keep going.
What?
What are your 10 through 7?
Well, I had Blazers, Pacers at 10.
So Pacers,
Hawks, Sixers,
Sixers.
and then Celtics.
Okay, keep. So you have the Suns over the Celtics.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
We got abused by the Nets on Christmas. It was a good game for the first half. Someone doesn't like my choice of where my
I
team
don't
is.
like that at all. I'll get into that. I don't like that.
Someone isn't accepting.
Go,
that yet.
come on.
But we got abused by the Nets on Christmas.
That
where
was
we looked,
hard to watch.
We looked good in the first half, and then we got just murdered. We had a doubleheader type deal where we played a back-to-back against the Pacers.
Mm-hmm.
We lost the first game where they didn't have Oladipo, and Sabonis literally did what he wanted.
Mm-hmm. Especially at the end of the game.
Yeah, and then just the other day, I don't know if Brad Stevens is not using his brain, but we kind of started putting in our younger guys when we were down by like 15 in the first quarter against the Pistons. So we gave them their first win, and I'm gonna tell you right now, as a Celtics fan, 2 bigs, Tristan Thompson and Daniel Tice starting is not the answer.
Hey, they had a clean
Alley-oop, I don't
alley-oop
care.
today.
I don't care. Why would you text me that? I don't care.
I'm so sorry for texting you about that.
That's the worst
Very
thing to
sorry
text
for
me
texting
about.
you about that. I won't make that same mistake. I'm very sorry.
No, 2 bigs is not the answer for the Celtics, and until they change that, they will not be any higher on my list. They just won't. That's my team. I like our roster. I don't like the starting lineups that Brad Stevens is throwing out there. But soon he'll realize. Hopefully when Kemba gets back, then there won't be 2 bigs on the floor, and if there is, then I don't know what he's doing.
Yeah,
But
I'll have you know, your team doubled the Pistons in turnovers.
yeah, that's not good.
Yeah, no, but that was first of all, that was in a win. But like they're
And
starting.
it took a Tatum game winner to beat the Pistons.
yeah,
today.
that was today.
That was today. The little fadeaway midi, which is what he should have did against Pacers. But
That's what
anyway.
he should have did against Pacers. Today in their game, they were letting the Pistons stay in the game that they shouldn't have been anywhere near. Every time that the Pacers would go out, or not the Pacers, the Celtics would go out and score a couple times,
Pistons will come right
they
back
would
and score.
they would literally, not even that they would come back and score. The Celtics would give them the ball and they would go out and score.
Yeah.
So it was just like the Celtics were handing them the win, but they ended up
They have a problem with playing down to their competition.
Yeah.
But anyways, the Boston Celtics are at my number 7.
your number 7. So my number 6, someone we already talked about, is the 76ers. I based that off of that last night. There were 2 teams at the top of the conferences. That was the Sixers and the Suns. I thought the Sixers were a little bit better than the Suns right now. Like, as in, I think that the Sixers lineup is better than the Suns lineup. So that's why I gave the Sixers the edge. Obviously, they're both playing better than I think will end up at the end of the season, but I feel like I gave them the decent spot in the list just because of how good they were doing at the time of me making it. We already went over their losses and their wins. What do you think about my number 6 spot for the Sixers?
It's not bad.
That's higher than you put them.
No, it's not bad. But the reason why they're so low on mine is because I don't believe in them.
Mm-hmm. I fully understand.
I have no belief in them.
But the thing is, I believe in them as a regular season team.
They'll be good in the regular season. They're gonna make the playoffs, obviously.
That's where I'm ranking them on my power.
No, okay, I understand that. But the thing is, I feel like they're close to their ceiling right now because Seth Curry's dropping 21 a night. Seth Curry,
no, I get you.
Should never have 21 a night.
Yeah, no, he's not doing that. He'll probably keep that up for the next
2 games.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
What's your number 6?
My number 6 is the Utah Jazz.
Jazz are your 6.
Yeah.
You might have missed a team. No, you didn't miss a team. Your Celtics were what?
7.
Your Celtics were 7. That's so rough that you put the Celtics that low. Okay.
Okay.
No, go about your team.
The reason why I had the Jazz at 6 is they have 2 losses, correct? Can you check that up?
The Jazz, I do believe, have 2 losses.
Okay, so their 2 losses were to the Timberwolves and the Suns. The Timberwolves, he mentioned that they had double their turnovers. I want to mention that Donovan Mitchell and Bogdanovich. Mitchell shot 26%. Bogdanovich shot 18% in that game. You're not going to win a game like that.
No, you're not.
And if you have double turnovers, you're definitely not going to win a game. The Suns and Jazz, I feel like are close. That's a good matchup.
Remind me who your 7 seed was? Or Celtics?
Celtics.
Okay, keep on.
In that game, I just want to note that the Suns shot 50% from 3.
Yeah, no. When I was re-looking over some of these games, a lot of the games are based off of, and we knew that 3-pointers were very important in today's game, but a lot of these games are based off of
good shooting nights.
Or
bad shooting nights.
Like some of these games literally will be like a 10-point win, and it'll be like a 30% difference in 3-point percentage. And I think that's so crazy.
Yeah. The Utah Jazz are the number 6 spot after 2 weeks for me. So
I had Jazz a lot lower because, although they were doing good, I think that the teams that I have above them are better than them.
Okay. I want to hear your number 5.
Hold on. You have let's okay, so those were our bottom 5. You believe that the Jazz are better than the Celtics as of right now?
Today?
Yes.
With the Celtics running 2 bigs, the Jazz are better than them.
No, you're right. But I still feel like if the Celtics and Jazz play tonight, I feel like I'm putting my money on the Celtics. Still.
I mean,
I understand the bigs, and because this is your
problem.
team that you're very passionate about, so I will.
It's a problem.
I know, I do understand that. No, You're right.
All right,
Okay.
moving on. Move on to your number 5.
I want you to go your number 5 first, because I've been leaving this off. Give me your number 5.
Okay. At number 5, I have the Phoenix Suns.
That's so high. Well, it's not even so high. That's only 2 spots higher than that. But that's crazy.
The Phoenix Suns have 2 losses, one of them being tonight against the Clippers, and Pandemic P dropped 40. He looks like he's back this season, by the way. We'll get to that. Mm-hmm. Their other loss was against the Kings, which was a back-to-back where Fox had I think Fox had like his career high in 3-pointers. He made like 4 or 5 in that game.
Yeah.
He's not doing that again. He didn't do it the next day when the Suns beat them. But
can we say De'Aaron Fox is the second best lefty in the league?
Who's first?
James Harden.
Okay, yeah.
Okay. But and not just best, but like cleanest looking, because
that's sus. But
cleanest
looking, you're gonna call another man the
he
cleanest
looks
looking?
clean when he plays. You're telling him he's not smooth?
He's smooth, but like
So
don't say it
smooth.
like that.
No, because okay.
We're not even talking about the Kings. Are the Kings on your top 10?
No.
All right, then who cares?
When Isaiah Thomas comes back, he's gonna be so clean.
Okay, so they lost to the Kings on a back-to-back, which they lost to them the first game, and then they handled them in the second game. My one problem with the Suns is I feel like the shortage of bigs is an issue. After Ayton, who hasn't he's been playing good this season. I feel like he has a higher ceiling to him. Their backup center is Saric. Saric is not very
And he's not even
considered
true
a big
center.
man.
Yeah.
He's not a true center. Their second true
he's not
center
even
is
close to a center.
their second true center is Damian Jones. Damian Jones in that game against the Kings, I want to say he lost them the game. he had some
Questionable.
some defensive defensive kind of like he had defensive some defensive moves were just questionable of his. Like sometimes his switches, it's like, why are you switching that? Why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? It's a lot of like little things for Damian Jones, and I feel like if they would have got Aaron Baines and if they would have re-signed Aaron Baines, this would have been a fantastic team.
I did wish that Aaron Baines re-signed, but it's kind of...
He's on Toronto now, but
Yeah.
the Phoenix Suns.
No, I do like this team, though.
I love the Suns this year, but at number 5 I have the Phoenix Suns.
Okay. My number 5, I'm sure you can guess.
The Boston Celtics.
It have not been mentioned on my team yet, is the Boston Celtics.
Okay.
I love the Boston Celtics team. I love Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum together. I know Kemba's out, and that's rough. Kemba's going to add a lot to their team. But just those two, not even just those two by themselves, because Marcus Smart, love Marcus Smart. I love Tice as a center, not when his big man friend is Tristan Thompson. Those two shouldn't be in the game at the same time. But I'm very high on the Celtics, especially because Jaylen Brown has been putting up some numbers.
He's been better than Jason Tatum.
He's better than Jason Tatum so far. Which you said something questionable today.
I did.
Let him know what you said, because I'm not letting the words come out of my mouth.
I said,
not yet.
Not yet.
No, I'm not letting the words come out of my mouth.
Oh,
yet.
yeah. Okay.
I'm not saying that.
I said Jaylen Brown is better than Jason Tatum.
And I think that is so early to say.
It's not so early.
They've played 6 games. Now, I know you're talking about the bubble.
I'm looking back at the bubble. I'm looking back at the playoffs.
They played 7 games.
Okay.
Right? And there's a lot of stuff that goes into it, too. Like, your team's down. 2 points. Who are you giving the ball to?
Right now, it's going to Tatum.
And who just hit a game winner tonight?
Tatum.
There's a lot of stuff that goes into it. I just feel like Jaylen Brown's doing his thing. He dropped like 42.
Mm-hmm. He had 31. He had 31 today.
Yeah, he did the 42 in 3 quarters. Mm-hmm. He could have dropped a 50 piece. Easy. Regardless, I think that they're my 5th best team wise, and I know that you strongly hate the 2 center lineup. I don't like it. But I still think that every team that I have underneath the Celtics aren't as good as the Celtics. And that's why I say it.
Aren't as good as the Celtics
right now.
Like
if they play
Celtics
tonight,
at their best.
No, not at their best. Right
okay.
now. Those teams definitely are better than Celtics at their best is a dangerous team.
No, yeah. That's what
I'm talking about right now. I'm betting on the Celtics over the Jazz.
With the double center lineup?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm betting on the Celtics over the Hawks. I'm betting on the Celtics over the Rockets, Suns, and Sixers. I like the Celtics better than all those teams tonight, regardless of their 2 centers and Jeff Teague instead of Kemba. I just think the Celtics lineup is crazy.
I don't mind my team being 5, but I have them at 7. Moving on to my number 4.
Go. I'll let you go first.
What's your favorite? The Brooklyn Nets.
I also have the Brooklyn Nets at my number 4. So
okay.
So our bottom 10. I had the Rockets.
Blazers.
You had the
Blazers.
Pacers, I thought.
Oh, Pacers. My fault. Pacers.
The rest of ours were all the same, but
different
mixed
order.
up. I think our top 4 will be the exact same, just because a lot. Actually, all right. So Nets.
Okay, the Nets. The Nets have 4 losses as of now.
They have a lot. They've been doing a lot worse, and I think this is where we came together. They've been doing worse than they are. Mm-hmm. Some of that is bench and no one else showing up besides
a lot of it is bench,
Kyrie and KD. Mm-hmm. But they're just so good. Can I say why? I understand that you said that you're going with your 4, but can I say I have the Nets 4 because they have the worst record of the top 4 teams in the league. Or I don't know if worst, but they do. They have the worst record in the top 4 they have the worst record in the top 4. Mm-hmm. I don't think they're the worst of the top 4, but they have the worst record and have the least help in the top 4. That's why I put them last.
I agree with that.
Okay.
Their 4 losses are against the Hornets. They lost by 2, where the bench didn't produce, and Kyrie and KD had like 58 combined. I believe that game they had like 30 and 28.
They lost to the Grizzlies.
They lost to the Grizzlies where Kyrie and KD sat
They
out.
both sat.
And then they lost to the Hawks on a back-to-back, which I had the Hawks sneaking a game. And in the Hawks game, by the way, they had a bench issue where their bench didn't show up again.
Yeah.
And then they lost tonight, 1-point loss to the Wizards. And apparently KD missed a 10-footer for the win.
Kyrie missed a pull-up three for the win. The
Offensive
shot got tipped back out to KD. He drove in, had a 10-footer that KD's made a million times in his life, and he missed that too. And Birdman, you know Birdman.
Birdman. I like Birdman.
Got a bit saucy tonight.
On Twitter?
Yeah, he tweeted out Kyrie's tweet, or not tweet, but quote from earlier. Do you remember what it was?
No.
So Kyrie, talking about the signing of KD, said something along the lines of, "This is the first time in my career
I can trust somebody.
with
the ball in their hands.
Look at him and
under a
say
minute
he
or
can make it too."
Yeah, okay.
Not only did Kyrie miss,
But so did his guy.
so did the guy that he could trust too. They both missed.
That's apparently more trustworthy than LeBron James.
I think it was a bit disrespectful.
It was.
From both Birdman and Kyrie, but Birdman, that was definitely the perfect time to tweet that out.
Yeah.
Was after they both missed game winners tonight.
Okay, so we both had the Nets at number 4.
Yeah, and in my notes, on all of their, not all of their losses, on the Hornets, Hawks, and Wizards, the reasoning for their losses is no hope for
Bench.
every single one
It's
of them.
bench, that's what I
and
was
then the
trying to say.
Grizzlies, they both
sat out.
You
You're not gonna win a game
you
with
can't
Curry.
expect
You can't expect their bench to show up if they don't have
they don't have a bench. And if your two best players are KD and Kyrie, you're not going to win if they're not in. Well, maybe against like the Knicks.
The Knicks are 3-3.
I don't care. I don't think I'll ever watch a full Knicks game
No.
in the next 20 years.
No. When we play them, I'm not watching. I'm literally
Yeah?
watching like the last 3 minutes.
Nice. Okay. Do you want to go your 3 or I'll go my 3?
You go through your 3.
My 3 is the Clippers.
Okay.
Is your 3 the Clippers?
My 3 is also the Clippers.
So I believe that our top 4 should be the same.
Okay, but we'll describe the Clippers first and why they're number 3.
So I have the Clippers because they're. This is so hard to say. I don't think that the Clippers' record has much to do with how good their team is.
Same thing with the number 2 team.
Yeah, but the opposite, right? Because my number 2 team isn't doing good.
Yeah, me neither. Me neither.
Okay, so the Clippers, right? The reason I have the number 3, they lost to the Mavericks by 50 points.
3,000 points.
That made me lose a lot of respect for that team.
Did.
They also lost to the Jazz, in which the top scorer was Mike Conley,
Mike Conley.
who we were just talking about the other day.
Mike Conley shot 7 for 14 from 3 and had 33 points.
Oh, 33. I thought it was 31. My
Yeah,
bad.
33 points that game.
33 on the Clippers, who have great
perimeter defense.
Paul
Paul George, Kawhi, Pat Bev.
Bev. That's amazing perimeter defense. They beat the Lakers opening night.
Opening night champs.
They're the back-to-back opening night champs. Congrats. You should put a banner up for that. You don't have any other banners.
Yeah, kick the Lakers out of the Staples Center and put up their opening night banner.
Yeah, kick us out with your back-to-back opening nights. They also beat the Nuggets, which apparently every team I think the Nuggets are like 0-29. I think everybody's beat the Nuggets at least once. They beat the Timberwolves, they beat the Blazers, and they beat the Suns. All teams that they should have beat.
But those are all good teams. Blazers and Suns, those are good.
I
good wins.
think the Lakers, that was a good win.
Oh, that's definitely
The
good.
Suns is a good win. The Blazers
is not so good of a win.
Is a decent win, but that's the worst out of
that's
their
their
good wins.
worst good win. Yeah.
So Timberwolves, we 100%. I think Cat might have sat out that game too.
Cat is hurt. He broke his left wrist.
Yeah, and then everyone's beating the Nuggets, so that's not too impressive to me. Yeah. That's why they're my number 3.
Yeah. Same thing with me. Just their 2 losses are the Mavs ass whooping, and the Jazz 7 for 14 Conley performance. That's
Okay.
How did he even get 14 threes up?
He shouldn't have.
No, but like was he just going and catch?
No, he must have.
Was Mike Conley like a more smooth shooter than De'Aaron Fox?
Okay, De'Aaron Fox looks smoother, but I wouldn't say Mike Conley's like something to blow over.
I didn't say I wasn't
Okay.
blowing over him. I'm just saying because you're like you went to De'Aaron Fox so fast, being the second smoothest.
Is Mike Conley a lefty?
Yes.
Bro, I love Mike Conley. Why did I not know that? No, I still think De'Aaron Fox is a smoother player.
I'm just making sure because I know you were saying he's a top 10 point guard the other day.
I was off the hookah.
Don't worry, guys. I snapped some sense into him.
Okay.
He's not a top 10 point guard.
So, who's your number 2?
At number 2, I have the Los Angeles Lakers. Just kidding. I have the Milwaukee Bucks.
I was about to say our list did switch up.
No.
So we both have the Bucks too.
I hate the Lakers, but I have a brain.
I love the Celtics, even though I should hate the Celtics.
I hate you guys.
I hate the Celtics franchise, but I love the Celtics roster. Okay, so the Bucks, we have a lot. Tatum hit a game winner on them. They lost to the Knicks.
They shot 7 for 38 from 3.
They did do terrible. I put they couldn't shoot. Also, Julius Randle had a game, and I don't know if you've seen it. Elfrid Payton had a game. And they lost also to the Heat. Middleton.
On a back-to-back.
Yeah, Middleton didn't show up. I think he had bad. I think he had like 8.
but you couldn't expect anything
No.
from them because they beat them by 50 the day before,
Yeah.
and they didn't miss it. Like they shot like 54% from 3 that game.
Yeah. The teams that they beat were the Warriors, the Heat, and the Bulls. Beat the Heat by a lot. Bulls should have won. Warriors should have won. So,
But the thing about the Bucks being so high, it's okay. We get that they don't have a good record, right?
yeah,
And we get that they haven't beat good teams, but you know that's the number 1 seed in the East.
you know it, 100%. They will be the best team in the East this year.
And that's the same thing with our number 1, the
The Los Angeles
Lakers.
Lakers. They lost to the Clippers.
Opening night.
I gave reason to that as it's the first game. They're a little bit rusty. Same thing happened last year. If you're gonna fault the Lakers for losing their first game,
Their opening night game, then
like just look at what happened last year. We brought home the chip. They also lost to the Blazers.
where Gary Trent had the game of his life.
Gary Trent proved that he was the second best point guard in the league. So the 2 best point guards are on the Warriors and the Blazers. Not Damian Lillard though. Gary Trent Jr.
I agree.
I don't know if you don't watch House. They were reacting to the highlights of it, and Dre said that Gary Trent Jr. looks like he listens to Juice WRLD. And so he probably was in his feelings that night. So that's what he chopped it up to. They beat the Mavs, T-Wolves, Spurs twice, Grizzlies. All those games we expect the Lakers to win. I think they're the best team in the league.
No, there's no doubt that the Lakers are the strongest, most
We are the team to beat.
well-built
Yeah.
team in the.
And right now we're tied for first in the
Yeah.
West, and we're just under the Sixers because they're
The best team in the NBA.
the best team in the whole NBA. That's why I have them number 1 tied.
Yeah. Same thing that Connor said. Just really, that's the most well-built team. That's the team to beat. They went out and won the chip last year. There's really nothing else that you can say.
No, yeah. Our teams were a little bit off at the start, but we did value a couple different things. At the end, they literally were the exact same, though.
Yeah. Which you kind of figured, right?
Yeah. Moving on, past NBA, football. Do you want to start with NFL or college?
I think we should start with NFL first.
Okay, so NFL. Me and you were both wrong.
Both are wrong.
We both picked the Cardinals to get the win. They ended up losing.
They ended up losing to the Rams 18-7.
Yeah, I don't think
John Walford started the game.
Did the Cardinals score after when did they score?
The first quarter.
First quarter. I don't think they scored the rest of the night.
It was 18-7. They didn't score.
Yeah, no, they didn't score. They literally scored and then
That's
couldn't get a single point in for the rest of the night.
I want to say that they lost because Kyler Murray got hurt again and only threw 11 passes. John Wolford, just want to note that he did better than expected. He had no Cooper Kupp. He had no Akers, the running back. No, Akers did play. They were out their running back Henderson due to COVID.
Okay.
He had the most passing yards on the team and he had the most rushing yards. John Wolford,
Nice.
56 rushing yards.
As a
quarterback.
As a quarterback that
Nobody knows about.
nobody knows about.
So they probably didn't even know he could run.
Yeah.
The Cardinals.
They had no film on him. They had no game plan.
Okay. The Cardinals. I would say disappointed me finishing 8-8. I had them making the playoffs at the start. I had them beating the Niners in week 1. I told my uncle, who's a big 49ers fan, they were going to beat them week 1. They did. I expected them to be a playoff team, and if Larry Fitzgerald retires, fantastic career. Props to you. I think you should come back for one more because I think you guys are a playoff team next year. But the Rams make it in without Goff. The Cardinals don't. The Cardinals really just failed. They scored in the first quarter and they didn't score the rest.
Yeah.
That's it.
Moving on from that, the Cowboys got eliminated by the Giants. Andy Dalton threw one interception the whole game, and it was the one that
mattered most.
That mattered the most. It was the game-losing interception thrown. You hate to see it if you're a Cowboys fan. You love to see it if you're any other team in the league because
the way the Cowboys
were the Cowboys.
But the way the Cowboys were going to get into the playoffs was a Washington loss and a Giants loss. Once the Giants beat them, that obviously killed everything.
Yeah, Washington.
But the Giants still had a shot. They needed Washington to lose to the Eagles. Washington beat the Eagles by 6, so that means that Washington is hosting a playoff game at 7-9.
Nice. They have a negative record.
And let's just note that there's a team in the AFC named the Miami Dolphins who didn't make the playoffs, but they have like 10 wins.
That's why
someone's gonna bring up a point that they're gonna have to change the rules, some sort, just because.
It's not that they should change the rules. It's just hard to see that happen.
No, that is
like
that's tough.
It doesn't break your heart, but it gives you a bad feeling inside when your team is obviously better than another team, but you have to sit at home and watch them play.
Like not only did Washington make the playoffs, they're hosting a playoff game because they won the division. They are hosting a team.
Yeah. Some divisions
that's so tough.
Are I would say anyone would say aren't equal.
No,
not all divisions are made equal.
But so they can't be made equal.
No, but so how the NBA, right? You would say that the West is better than the East. Mm-hmm. That's where a lot of people in the NBA say that they should change the rules. In the NFL, it's obviously
the NFC East is terrible.
Yeah,
they're hosting a playoff game at 7-9. Moving on to speaking of the Dolphins, the 10-6 Dolphins, I believe they were a win and get in, and they're playing the Bills, who had already clinched a playoff spot, and the Bills did not care about Tua's feelings.
They didn't take the day off.
I know the Dolphins went into the day without their backup Fitzpatrick, who they've been going to a lot whenever Tua's been having a down game. Which Tua had a down game, they couldn't go to him. He threw 3 interceptions.
We don't do that.
The Bills didn't care. They literally put up 56 on the Dolphins after the Bills were already in the playoffs. And I want to say, Stephon Diggs did play. So yeah, they literally didn't care.
Yeah.
They ran them over.
Yeah. Another game, Titans beat the Texans. By inches. It hit off the uprights, a field goal that put the Texans away.
The Texans. Well, the thing about the Texans is they were playing for nothing. It was the Colts. Yeah. It was the Colts. If the Colts needed to win and the Titans needed to lose, and the Colts would have won the AFC South, I want to say, but the Titans barely pulled it off. They pulled off a comeback where Derrick Henry rushed for 250 yards, which means that he surpassed 2,000 yards.
Yeah, I think he's the eighth. They said
8th ever.
And if you were watching him, he looked like he was a man on a mission. I remember I was scrolling, or not scrolling through, but I was flipping back and forth. And when that game was on, it looked like he definitely came into the game with a goal.
He knew.
And Derrick Henry, I feel like if he has a goal and
he's gonna achieve it.
You have to stand in front of him to stop that goal. Achieve it. You're not stopping him from achieving his goal.
No, yeah. Derrick Henry, 34 carries, 250 yards.
Yeah, sheesh.
He did fumble twice. One of them was recovered by himself, but that's besides the point. They went out and won. They won the AFC South. I believe the Colts still got a wild card spot, but you would obviously want to host a game.
Yeah.
Our
last but not least, Cleveland Browns.
Cleveland Browns. That's
are in the playoffs. For the first time since before
we were born.
Both of us
Both of us?
Both of us were born against Rudolph, the red-nosed reindeer, since 2002 is, to be exact, when the last time they were in the playoffs.
Yep.
I think, what was it, 2 years ago they were 0-16? Now they're finally in the playoffs?
Maybe three. It was maybe 3 years ago.
It was definitely not too long ago.
That's a big turnaround.
Oh, no. Yeah, it might have been 3. Because remember a couple of years ago when they got a win? It was like free beer in Cleveland.
It was crazy.
They were all celebrating. But yeah, they're in the playoffs, so you guys have something to go for.
The Browns pulled it off. They actually stopped a 2-point conversion to secure the win. The Steelers had to go for a 2-point conversion to extend it into overtime. They stopped it. I'm sure that was a big moment for Cleveland. The thing about them is
Cleveland's biggest win since LeBron in 2015-16.
Yeah, but the thing about Cleveland is I feel like they might be able to sneak a playoff game, but something else tells me that they won't be able to because they're a run-first team. Whenever they throw the ball out, they're not successful because Baker's not good. He's not.
I think he's just inconsistent because there are nights where he does look good, though.
No, he has his days, but at the same time, it's like...
He's not reliable.
No, he's not reliable. And they have 2 tremendous running backs. Two
Chubb.
running backs that would start on really any team, honestly. Or not start, but they would at least be a backup for sure.
Yeah.
Nick Chubb and Kareem Hunt. Kareem Hunt kicked that woman in the face, but he's back in the NFL, and he's back on the Browns. Nick Chubb has always been a star for them. His 4 years there. I want to say it's 3. He's a top probably 6 running back in the league. 14 carries, 108 yards. They're in.
Yeah.
You can't judge anything else about them. They're in.
No, yeah, they're in. And they're finally in. They've been waiting on that for a long time.
Yeah.
Other football, college football, right? So there was the college football playoff semifinals.
Mm-hmm.
Clemson was playing Ohio State. Notre Dame was playing Alabama. Alabama won. Ohio State won. So they're moving on.
Okay, but let's get this to everybody's brain. Everybody expected Notre Dame to lose to Alabama.
There was a clip. I don't know if you've seen it of the. There was like
all their losses.
No, there was an old lady, and when it showed that Notre Dame was playing Alabama, like she got super sad.
I'm sure. They have a history of. They have a history of failing their fans in the bowl games. I actually wrote down a note. I'm going to read the exact word for word. Notre Dame continues to fail their fans, losing by double digits in bowl games since I was born.
Is that a fact?
Close.
Okay.
It's a little bit like over.
No,
what's
but
the word?
no.
What's the word? Over
exaggerating.
Over exaggerated.
But
I'm
sure it feels. I'm sure it feels.
No, I'm sure it feels
accurate.
like that. Yeah, Notre Dame's always there. They always fall short, whether it's to Clemson or Alabama. Alabama, the hurdle. Let's talk about the hurdle.
So Najee Harris, right? Their running back, jumped clean over.
Clean.
I don't know.
I don't know who it was, but it was clean. Like it wasn't even close.
Yeah, he hurdled him like it was like
a hurdle.
Like he genuinely hurdled him. And it wasn't like the other guy was like super into a dive. He was upright. He was a fair amount.
He was up,
and that
it was impressive.
So Alabama,
and it was a 50-yard run too.
Alabama, right? They have. Correct me if I'm wrong, the running back and wide receiver, who I think they have the record for, they both have 20 touchdowns in a season, which never been done.
You're not going to beat that.
Yeah, the wide receiver, his teammate.
Devonta Smith.
Who is?
The Heisman winner, in my opinion.
There you go.
He had 2 touchdowns against Notre Dame, which in my opinion solidified his Heisman win. Actually, the commentator, he dropped the pass, which was his 3rd drop of the year. And the commentator made a joke, and he's like, oh no, like, that just lost him the Heisman Trophy.
Yeah.
Like, the fact that that's a joke, like, that just shows that he's going to win it. I feel Trevor Lawrence could have made more of a run for it if he didn't sit out those 2 games because he got COVID, but that's besides the point. Speaking of that, let's jump into that.
No, good talk about Trevor Lawrence. Clemson lost to Ohio State.
Which was not expected because Ohio State had only played 6 games, and people were questioning whether or not they deserved it, whether A&M should get in, whether I think it was Cincinnati who was 8-0.
I'm pretty sure it was Clemson's coach, right? He said that he had Ohio State 11th. Or he had them ranked 11th. And after Ohio State beat them,
he doesn't regret it.
He still said, I don't regret ranking them 11th, which basically means that he's okay losing in the playoffs to an 11th ranked team.
And I hope you know that the Ohio State players, they took pride in that because
100%.
after the game on live, they're holding up their phone. He's like, "Yeah, if we're 11th, where are you guys at?"
No, yeah. That's
So
terrible.
that's kind of tough for.
Did you see?
Dabo.
I forget which game it was, but there was a picture. There was someone standing sideline while the other team was. Who was? It might have been. I completely forget who it was, but there was someone standing sideline watching the other team like celebrate.
Oh,
on the
that
field.
was Cincinnati and.
That was.
that was another game. But
Okay, but I seen someone tweet about it recently, and they were talking about like. There was like someone who
it was like he'll be the best player next year, right?
Yeah, something crazy like that.
Yeah, no.
I thought that was one of these games because I just seen someone standing sideline.
No, Cincinnati went 8-0, and then they lost in one of the bowls against Georgia. But that's besides the point. Notre Dame didn't deserve to be there. I also want to talk about Clemson and their play call. I noticed that they had one play.
The whole game.
It's an RPO, which we know because of Madden.
Yeah.
I'll admit that I know that because of Madden.
RPO, and then it was
Not peak zone bubble.
Peak zone bubble.
No, actually, it was peak zone bubble because look. So what he would do?
RPO
is,
peak zone bubble is the fake handoff, or you could hand it off, and then you pass it off to the wide receiver, and there's two blockers.
Okay, so
Or you could just run it with the quarterback.
the play is you can hand off to the running back, or you can pull it and run with the quarterback.
Yeah.
Or there's a guy swinging out behind two blockers. So
that is basically RPO peak zone bubble.
They ran RPO peak zone bubble.
Which
I wanna say 20 times.
the reason why it probably didn't work is because it's not good in Madden 21.
That's not.
It was good in Madden 20. They should have did it last year, but that's probably why it wasn't working.
No, but Ohio State has a.
Should have did last year. Anyways, no, my bad.
No,
Keep going.
Ohio State has a below average secondary, I would say. Or actually, they have an average secondary for college, but them running RPO peak zone bubble and not letting their receivers get to the next level was their worst mistake on offense, and that's why they struggled. But anything else you want to say about the football playoffs, college football playoffs?
No.
We can discuss next time who's going to win Ohio State.
Yeah, okay.
Alabama.
Do you have a prediction now?
Do we want to say something now?
We'll leave it for next time. I think
the midweek.
Yeah, the midweek. Which
I think they play next Monday. So yeah.
Yeah,
we'll throw it in the
so
midweek.
that should be right. The midweek will be up
Wednesday, Thursday. Oh no, Wednesday. It'll be up.
It'll be up.
It'll be up
at the end of this
At
week.
the end of this week.
At the end of this week.
But anyways, guys.
Well, that wraps it up.
That wraps it up for today. Make sure you guys like and subscribe.
If you guys are going back to school, good luck.
Good luck. Put our videos on in the background.
Put our videos on, or tell your class about us.
Tell your class about us.
I'm sure you have a ton of sport watchers, especially if you're in like a basketball PE or a football PE. Any sport PE. Send our link. Spread the word. Everything helps.
Yep.
Other than that, yeah, I think.
Yeah. Well, we'll see you guys. We'll see you guys in the middle of what this week.
At the end of this.
At the end of this.
At the end of this week.
We'll catch you guys. Oh, that was on. Probably said we'll catch you guys.